I honestly felt like they were disgusted by me. It was an okay experience. There were some red flags and some cracks showing. Okay, here we go. When are you returning to pageant videos? We miss your pageant vlogs. When are you going to give your thoughts on Miss Universe Philippines, Miss World, Miss Grand International? I get asked probably every single day in my DMs on Instagram, here on YouTube, where are my pageant videos and why haven't I talked about pageants for a long time? I've got a lot to say about this. Some of you probably already have a feeling, but I was inspired to make this video because the other day I was in Banff, I was at Tim Hortons in Banff, and I ran into somebody who watches my videos. So if you're here, hi. And they asked me, why haven't you been making videos? And I didn't really have a concise answer because I just have so many things that I could say, but I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to say anything that comes across in a way that makes me seem a certain way. So I'm just gonna start by saying this. I feel forever grateful that I feel like I participated and competed in one of the best editions of Miss Universe that there ever was. When I competed at Miss Universe, held in January 2017, technically the 2016 edition, it was held in the Philippines. And I'm not just saying that because I have a lot of Filipino subscribers. I am saying that because it was truly one of the best experiences of my life. Leading up to that point, like leading up to competing at Miss Universe, I competed in quite a few different pageants. When I was a teen, I also want to remind you, if you haven't been here before, you're new, or I didn't grow up thinking I'm gonna go to Miss Universe one day. Pageants were not really a big thing around where I was from. I'm from a small town or a small city called Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Pageants were not a thing. I had never even watched Miss Congeniality, and honestly in Canada, pageants have just never been something that I think people pay that much attention to, not in like a bad way, just that's the way it is. Growing up, I didn't know much about pageants, but I was 16 years old. I saw an ad on Facebook, this pageant called Miss Teen Saskatchewan. We had just lost our home to a house fire. The Red Cross had helped us out quite a bit. So I thought, oh, maybe this is a way that I could help the Red Cross like gain more recognition or maybe more donations or something. So I entered this pageant, Miss Teen Saskatchewan. I ended up winning, went on to win Miss Teen Canada World, was top 5 at Miss Teen World. From there, I started to learn more about the pageant space, learned about Miss Universe, and actually one of the Miss Universes that I just really admired after learning more about it was Miss Venezuela 2008, who won Miss Universe. Why can't I think of her name in this moment? Please let me know in the comments. Anyway, loved her yellow dress, loved her performance. I really saw her as like an inspiration from that point forward. I just really admired her. Of course, I love Natalie Glebova, Miss Universe 2005 from Canada. I had the opportunity to meet her a couple times. She's so great. Although she really didn't support me and my journey at Miss Universe, which was interesting, but that's okay. And by that, I mean, she was like kind of talking bad about me online, I guess, about my body and stuff, but oh well, the past is the past. All that to say, I started to learn about Miss Universe. I then competed for Miss Universe Canada in 2013 for my first time. I ended up being first runner-up, so I didn't win, but that was okay. I was 20 years old at the time. I knew that I wanted to win Miss Universe Canada, go to Miss Universe, and that was just like, it became a huge goal of mine. I don't want to get too much into it, but if you've seen my other videos, you know that I was much thinner at that time because I was really trying to be as skinny as possible because that's what they told me to be. And I really lost myself in that journey. I lost kind of who I was, I felt like, by trying to be what I thought they wanted me to be. So I decided I'm gonna come back again in a few years time and do this my way. In between then, I went to Miss Supranational. I won Miss Supranational Canada in Toronto, went on to Miss Supranational, placed as first runner-up for Canada, like Canada at Miss Supranational. That was super cool. And then I competed for Miss Universe Canada again in the summer of 2016. I won Miss Universe Canada and earned my right to go to Miss Universe. It was a roller coaster of a journey from there. My director wanted me to get liposuction. They wanted me to get a nose job. I actually talked about this in my last video a little bit, so if you want to learn more about the stuff that they told me to do and everything, check out my last video. All that to say, Miss Supranational, it was an okay experience. Miss Teen World, it was a good experience. I felt like Miss Universe was going to be the best of the experiences, but you kind of don't want to get your hopes up when you've kind of seen, like, you see the behind the scenes of some pageants and you're like, wow, this is not what I thought it was, or wow, it looks so much more glamorous on Instagram. But I still had high hopes for Miss Universe. When I went to Miss Universe, it exceeded every expectation that I had. I was picked up from the airport in like a beautiful car. I think it said Okata, Manila. Ended up staying at Okata, Manila on a trip that I went on with my husband in 2017, the summer of 2017. Fabulous experience. The security, the sponsors, the fans, everyone that we encountered during that experience was amazing. Like, it was such a wonderful experience from the second I landed in Manila to the second that I left. When I left Manila to come back to Canada, the amazing flight attendants and everyone who was on the plane that went from Manila to Vancouver, it was Philippine Airlines. They upgraded me to business class or first class or whatever it is on that plane, and just, I can't even tell you how amazing everything was. Like, even our chaperones, like, they were so kind. I still keep in touch with some of them. I was so blown away by Paula Sugar, Esther Swan, everyone involved in the Miss Universe organization. I was like, wow, this is how it's done. Like, this is how it's supposed to go. This is the experience that everybody wants. They had a doctor or multiple doctors if anyone was sick. It was just a world-class, universe-class experience. It was amazing. It was everything you thought that it would be, especially in the Philippines. We were treated like royalty. We were treated like queens. Fans were not just cheering for the Philippines. They were cheering for Miss Canada, Miss USA, Miss Venezuela, Miss Colombia, Miss Norway, Miss Denmark. They were cheering for everybody. And it was, I just felt so supported, so seen. Once again, if you would have seen anything about me in that time, people were labeling me as plus size. They were calling me fat, overweight. And so I was battling that as well. But the support that I had from the fans, like, I would run into people and be taking pictures and they would be like, you know, you make us feel seen. Thank you so much for standing up for women. And I just cannot say enough good things about the experience. So from there forward, if you've followed my journey, you know that in November of 2017, when Miss Universe was held in Las Vegas, I almost felt bad because the girls didn't get the experience that we had in the Philippines the year before. Like, we just had such a wow experience that I was like, I love Vegas, but I'm sure glad I competed at Miss Universe held in the Philippines. It was much shorter. I think it was like less than a week, whereas we were in the Philippines for, gosh, 2.5 weeks. But all this to say, I started talking about Miss Universe on my YouTube channel. I started posting about it, just a few videos, just like a sprinkling. I also got married the day of Miss Universe 2017, held in November. So we got married at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, my husband and I, and then us and our moms went over to Planet Hollywood to watch Miss Universe in real life. So Miss Universe is close to my heart for that reason too. So literally celebrated our first morning of being married by watching Miss Universe in person when Demi Lee won. And then that was that. Then I eventually got pregnant and started making videos giving my predictions for Miss Universe 2018, which of course ended up being Catriona Gray. I have always been a fan of Catriona. I loved her at Miss World. So a lot of my videos started to go viral for me anyways. I'll never forget my first video of my predictions that year for Miss Universe 2018 had like 7,000 views. And I was like, wow, this is so crazy. And then I think that video ended up reaching, gosh, over 100,000 views for sure. And I just like couldn't believe what was happening. So I just started, I was pregnant, I was bored living in Halifax because I just graduated law school. I had no friends in Halifax. And so I just started talking about Miss Universe with you guys, really connecting with so many of you. It was so much fun. Then my daughter was born and my brother and I went to Atlanta for Miss Universe 2019 and we watched it in person. We covered it in person. We were doing like 2 to 5 videos a day. We had live coverage like at the hotel. It was so much fun. And this is all still under IMG. So I also want to add in, because I think it's important to say this, when I would have a lot of people who would like interview me, like people who don't know about pageants, and they'd be like, you know, isn't this like archaic, like a pageant wearing a sash, and like, isn't this degrading and demeaning to women? And I would always say, like, you have to be there and you have to feel the energy and feel the support and see and talk to these women. Like, they're so talented, they're so intelligent, they still are. You'll just get a new perspective if you go. Like, I would always tell people that. And then, so we went to Atlanta, and then from there forward though, my brother and I kept doing our pageant predictions and everything. We talked about Miss Universe Philippines. We really kept supporting Miss Universe. Then when I think Esther Swan first left, or was it, you're gonna have to help me out in the comments, because honestly, there's some stuff I'm so out of touch with now because I just stopped keeping up with what was going on. There were some red flags and some cracks showing that I was like, I'm scared for the future of Miss Universe. It seemed like it was hard for them to hold on to their sponsors, and I don't know if that's also like a, you know, showing of the world that the world is moving on from pageants. Like, maybe they really are kind of more of a thing of the past, I guess. Like, I don't know. But when Miss Universe was sold in, what year was that now? 2021? Okay. Yeah, okay, in 2022. Okay, so the JKN Global Group acquired Miss Universe in 2022. Some were really hopeful for the new investment and innovation, but during the audition, when that new owner came on stage and started talking, I was like, this is not going to be good. And not because someone shouldn't have their moment on stage, but I could just feel the shift, that it just wasn't about the women anymore. Or at least for that era, it was about business. It was about having other people in the spotlight. And I just felt concerned. And then within a year, JKN filed for bankruptcy protection, which obviously raised concerns about the financial health and the long-term sustainability of the company and for Miss Universe. There was a lot of confusion and inconsistency, and there's just so many things I could say, but I don't want this to come across as bashing. So you guys know there have been multiple national organizations that have had a lot of like scandals and franchise issues, and women have been abruptly replaced, and it's just like really chaotic and confusing. And yeah, my personal breaking point though, because I don't, you know, if you want to look up the facts of all this drama and stuff, you can definitely look it up. My personal breaking point where I was like, that's it, I'm out, is when my former director, Dennis, you can look him up, he won Director of the Year from the Miss Universe organization. I think that was this past year. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I was like, oh my gosh, because you know what, if you look back there's like 1 or 2 Miss Universe Canadas that are still involved in Miss Universe Canada. Every single other one, pretty much, I mean, a lot that I talked to and a lot that I connected with that want nothing. They don't even want to, they want to help the girls, but they try to give these warning signs of like, don't do it, like it is so toxic, you will not be supported, don't do it. I even would give that advice to some women, like, you know what, chase the dream if you want it for you, but don't expect to be supported. Expect to be basically bullied into doing different things. Expect to feel pressured to do things you don't want to do. Expect to have no prizes. Like, I didn't get one freaking prize, you guys. Not one. The girl after me, she got a trip to like Mexico, she got some jewelry, and part of me is like, was it because I helped like set, you know, like, oh, Canada placed at Miss Universe after 10 years, like, I don't know, but I didn't get one prize. I didn't get to keep the crown. I didn't get a freaking t-shirt, nothing. I wasn't in it for that, so it's fine. But there's sometimes I'm like, wow, like not, like nothing. Anyway, all this to say, when he won Director of the Year or whatever under the new, I don't even know now, does JKN even only own part of it? I know there's other people involved. Please help update me in the comments, because I just have lost touch with what's happening. Anyway, when that moment happened, I was like, oh my gosh, like I just felt so, it was almost like a slap in the face, because if you want to know more of like what they put me through and the stuff that they did, watch my last video and I share some of it with you there. And I don't even share everything because it's just, I don't want to be sitting here seeming like I'm complaining, you know? I just have to say it just wasn't, everything was for show, you know? And I went to Miss Universe, I honestly felt like they were disgusted by me. Like I felt like they were just ashamed that I was the representative. But when I made it in the top 9, they came and they were taking selfies with me and pictures and posting it. Oh my gosh, you know, Sierra placed after a 10-year drought for Canada. Then they were supportive of me and they were sharing all the articles as if they had something to do with it. Meanwhile, they're behind the scenes telling me to get liposuction, you know? Like, anyway, you can tell it fires me up quite a bit. But then he was named as, what is his new title? I had to look it up. Okay, the new title, his new title, he was appointed as the Talent Development Director for the Miss Universe organization, and he leads the Miss Universe Global Tour, aiming to showcase the diversity achievements and inspirational stories of contestants worldwide. Prior, he was the National Director of Miss Universe Canada. So yeah, when that Paula Shugart left, who was the president, and she was amazing. When Esther left, when it was sold, I guess it was sold first. It was sold and then those women left. And then this. I've stayed posting the videos that I posted because I really wanted to support and highlight the women, which I still am like, go women. I just feel like I can't support it. Like the stuff that I had to go through as a contestant, and then someone like that is like, you know, rises to the top or whatever. It's just, how do you even put it into words? I don't know. And do I think pageants are relevant anymore? I think maybe it depends on the country. I just really feel like the loss of the core values that I saw in Miss Universe under IMG, you know, confidently beautiful and showcasing women for more than their looks. Like I don't know if it's there anymore. Like I don't know if it's there anymore. Like it feels like now it's more about shock value and PR and headlines, and maybe that's what they need to do to get sponsors. I don't know. I feel like it could have gone a whole different direction under IMG, but maybe they just couldn't get the sponsors, because this is something I've shared before, is that of all the years that I did pageant videos here on YouTube, some would have 1 million views, hundreds of thousands of views. I never had a brand that wanted to sponsor one of those videos. And if you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, that's my full-time job, is I guess on YouTube too, but specifically Instagram and TikTok, I work with brands. Brands pay me to do videos, feature them, and hundreds of thousands of views on those YouTube videos, and not one brand. Well, maybe like 2, but like you would think if hundreds of thousands of people are viewing those videos, brands would be interested in being a sponsor, but they just didn't want to be involved in the pageant content. So then I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe Miss Universe is struggling to get sponsors, want to be associated with a pageant. Like maybe some of these modern brands don't want to be associated with pageantry. That's kind of my biggest guess, but I really feel like Miss Universe lost its credibility, its prestige, its global trust. I feel like they changed so many of the rules, some of which became more inclusive, which is amazing, but it's just lost the magic that it used to have, in my opinion. Not like the, oh, you know, you can't have been married, like whatever, who cares if you've been married? I don't really care. I just feel like there were so many things that happened all at once. It lost a lot, in my opinion. Also, the involvement of the Miss Grand International director, I don't even know, what is he now? The fact that the most recent Miss Grand International stepped down, and like that owner or whatever he even is, you guys, I'm so sorry for my ignorance. I've just kind of checked out or blocked out some of this stuff. She made this like 1-hour video talking about how it was a toxic environment, there were broken promises, and that it was just impossible for her to continue in silence. The owner or whatever of Miss Grand International is, what is he even now? The executive director of Miss Universe? I don't know. It's all too much for me. It really is. And so how I will conclude this video is, some of you have asked me, you know, how can we still support you? Which I appreciate so much. I have to say, I appreciate all of your support over the years. Like it honestly means so much to me. I can't put that into words. Like knowing that I was talking to you guys about the pageants, like I was so passionate about Miss Universe, and so were you, and just knowing that you were watching and commenting and engaging and liking and sharing my videos really, really meant the world to me. And so when people have asked me like, how can we still support you? I'm like, first of all, thank you so much for thinking of that, because that's so kind, and your kindness makes me want to give back as well. So honestly, still subscribing if you haven't subscribed, liking my videos, following me on Instagram and TikTok, just really engaging with my everyday life. Like I feel like it's kind of fun. If you see my kids, they're so adorable. I have 2 kids now. I don't know if some of you know that. And just like following our life and seeing what we're up to and giving me your feedback on that stuff, the way that you did with my pageant videos would honestly mean the world to me. Yeah, you don't even have to do anything except, yeah, follow, subscribe, like, and engage. For creators, like full-time creators, when you engage with their content, that really means so much more than we could ever say, and it just helps us to continue doing what we're doing. And one thing I want to do more of is more giveaways. Even if it's like cash prizes, I can send people gift cards so easily, even internationally. That's something I want to do more of, so definitely look out for that on Instagram and TikTok. Just to be able to give back and share the support that you give me, I want to give that back as well. Never underestimate the power of that. Hitting subscribe, hitting follow, liking a creator's video, commenting on their video. It means so much. And also that we can continue then to share the content that we do, because we love sharing it, you love seeing it. It's so fun to engage with everyone in the comments. So anyway, hit subscribe, go hit follow on Instagram and TikTok. I'll put the links for those below. Give me your comments and feedback, and I definitely am gonna find ways to give back to you guys, because I can't express enough how grateful I am for your support over the years. And never say never about chatting about pageants. You know, maybe something will happen and we'll be full back in it with our predictions, and we'll all be chatting together about it. But in the meantime, check out my other videos. We just went to Disneyland and it was so much fun. Disneyland actually hosted us, my dad, Lily, my brother, and I. It was like an insane trip. So you got to check those videos out. We were just in Hawaii and that was so beautiful. So see those videos, comment on those. I would love to see you over there. It's all on this channel, and I'll see you on Instagram and TikTok. And And yeah, maybe update me on what the heck is going on right now in the comments with Miss Universe, because I don't even know the latest, the greatest, what the heck is happening. I'm a little bit checked out of that. So thank you guys so much. As always, that's how you used to end all those pageant videos. And I would say, hope you subscribe, which actually, oh my gosh, okay, fun fact. Lily, who you guys would have seen as a baby, she's now 6 years old and she has her own YouTube channel. She has begged me, or asked me, I shouldn't say begged me. She has asked me so many times over the last few years if she can have a YouTube channel. It has happened. So if you want to subscribe to her channel, she does a lot of fun things like toy unboxings. She's actually doing a giveaway right now. It's going to be posted tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. It ends July 1st. Everything that you see is led by her, directed by her. I'm just the one editing behind the scenes and helping her set it up. So if you want to subscribe to her channel, that would mean the world to her. So I will put her channel link below. It's called Lily's Wonder World, Lily James Wonder World, something like that. But I'll link it below. We'll see you guys over there. See you over on Instagram and TikTok, and I can't wait to chat again.